It is hard. It's really hard at the moment. I think for us, a lot of Arsenal fans, it's just the effort and the quality. Yes, we've spent a lot of money, the most in England at the moment. But it's the quality, the consistency, the experience. We're always looking for that potential. I think it's good to have potential. I think that's the reason why you have youth academy and things like that. But sometimes you want that instant success, that guaranteed success. Not always. You're always gonna get that with the big money spending, but law averages. If you keep on spending right and the right amount, and sometimes push the boat out, you get the quality guys through the door.
Yeah, so what about the philosophy, though, of the team? Like watching them against Chelsea yesterday, I just didn't feel like they had like a plan of how they really wanted to go about it. They really struggled to deal with Lukaku, and no one makes any changes. I feel like they're just a team of individuals out there.
I think for me, when you look at it, it's the lack of experience and a very, very, very young side. You have to remember that it's a young side, and you're dealing with Chelsea, who European champions, Super Cup, fantastic in the league. They look, they're cut above. Lukaku is operating on a different level now. I think his time in Italy and Conte, and he wants to learn. He wants to learn. He's on a different level now. And I'm not saying he's the finishing piece for Chelsea, but definitely he's a big piece, and they're going to go far. The gulf of talent and definitely experience was on show. You couldn't really miss it. They had so much time and space. Jorginho had so much time to pick, to pass, and control the kind of tempo. Don't get me wrong; he's a fantastic player. But if you give that guy too much time, they were allowed to just roll the ball to Lukaku. He's just turning every single time. Second half, they woke up. But the damage was done by them.
So we were talking earlier, and just for me, I was looking at the side, and like saying they're a shadow of the 2014 is an understatement. But some of the standard-bearing things that Arsenal did well, when they were a proper club, the way I look at them when I played against them, there were standard-bearers in collective spirit, the energy. No team would ever outrun them. Individual battles all over the pitch. They had leaders on the team. They had personality and character. Why is Arteta, understanding what it takes to be successful in the Premier League, brought in so many inexperienced players? Because it's all right saying you want to work with young players, but when you're Arsenal manager, you have to win results. And unfortunately, if you're bringing in 6, 7, 8 young players, it's going to be very, very difficult to do.
Yeah, it is, because you're always hoping that the potential becomes reality with the quality, and you hope, and that's the recruitment. It's not always working, and it's not. To be honest, it's not working. Hopefully, one of the two of those players will flourish and for in a couple of years' time make it. But I think what you got, the situation with Arsenal and Arsenal fans and the club and the history, I'm not saying it's a weight on their shoulders, but almost you have to embrace that and say, you know what, we had a fantastic history. We want to continue it somehow. But for me, some of the players just need to kind of the basics. I mean, you can lose, but the way we conceded some goals were too easy. The reaction times of some of the defenders, not backing each other up, not assessing and aware of danger, alarm bells. The first goal, it's just slipped across the 6-yard box. Get back and defend. Don't wait. The reactions, like, that's simple. That's ABC kind of defending. Allow Chelsea to score a really good goal, not those kind of simple goals.
How much criticism? Sorry, Trev. I just wanted to talk about recruitment really quickly, because how much criticism should Edu take for this? Because he plays his part. Obviously, that's his job as well. A lot of flack will go on to Mikel Arteta, but I always think the responsibility should be shared, especially if that's what you're spearheaded to do.
I think Edu's come in. I think it's a difficult job. I've played with him many, many years. I think it's a difficult job because, there is a budget there. They've spent a lot of money this time round. But when you look at, say, Man United, Liverpool, Manchester City, some of the big guys, obviously Chelsea, they've spent a lot of money over the last, say, 2-3 years. And that's made a difference. They've not all worked out, but they're happy to go again. I think with Arsenal, I think with this amount of money they spent, it's a lot of money, but it's catch up. Sometimes for me, I look at it, why don't you just cut 2 players or even 3 players and buy 1 quality one and join the kind of, the salary together? That's the way I think.
So just looking at the game against Chelsea, I thought Chelsea superseded Arsenal players in every position. So it wouldn't have really mattered yesterday, the formation, the game plan, the strategy. I thought Chelsea were always going to find a way to win that match, and that's how it was. And unfortunately, Leno played well, or else it could have been ridiculous. And it's like goals change games. And when you've got a young squad, if Leno let a couple of them where he's made worldies in and it becomes 4-0 and 5-0, that could have been any scoreline. Both of us know that. But I'm looking at that side and I'm looking at the setup. As a young coach as I am, I've been in the game 13 years coaching after the career we had. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, I don't know what plan A is, never mind plan B. And I don't see any leaders on the pitch. I really don't. I mean, what are the chances of Arsenal this season finishing in the top 10? Because I look at it and I think there's 10 better teams than Arsenal.
Yeah, and look, Trev, we are in the beginning of the season, Yes, everybody's on Arsenal. Yes, lost 2 derbies. It's not good. But, you gotta recognise it's early days. The warning signs are there. So hopefully, it's a lot of work back at the training ground and keep going. And that's all you can do, really. There's a lot of people going to be bashing Arsenal because of the history, what Arsenal did in the past. And the fans want that type of quality back. They want that quality back. And it's not easy because you've got a lot of guys out there. I mean, other teams, and they've got firepower in the market. And they're just, you got to look at the situation. Sometimes you're dealing with countries, countries owning football clubs. It's a massive difference, It's all it has all changed.
I get that, but when you've got Tommy Abraham, whose family support Arsenal, and he lives across London, and you can't persuade him to come to us. Because for me, Arsenal need a tall striker. They're not good enough to play out from the back. Everyone knows that. They press them high. They're not good enough to get through that press most of the time. And it's almost like a plan that can't even get off the ground. If you've got Tommy Abrahams, who could be the missing link, go directly into his feet or his chest, all of a sudden teams don't press you as much because they think, well, if we press and it goes into Tammy, he's going to keep the ball and we're on our way. I don't think Arsenal have got that striker to do that, and it's too easy for teams to play against Arsenal.
Yeah, it's too easy. But when you look at the press, I think they can play out. I think it just takes practice and confidence from the manager, saying, look, we can play at the back, and give the players the tools to kind of get out. Give them scenarios and time again. That's what it's all about. Maybe there's a little bit of a blind spot there. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I didn't know he was an Arsenal fan. Maybe the guys at Arsenal don't know he's an Arsenal fan. Maybe
I think it's his family.
Maybe they need to do a little bit more shirts. And also, maybe they need to change the type of player that comes through the door. Because for me, when I look at it, I feel that the bite, that kind of consistency, that I'm not going to lose kind of character is not in the door. It's not gone through the door yet. Yeah. There's some good players. There's some young players. There's some potentially fantastic players there. But I think, genuinely, the bite, that kind of, me and you today, one-on-one kind of individual battles, and then hopefully if we win enough individual battles, we're going to win the game. I don't think it's there at the moment.
Do you think that falls on Arteta, though, Sol? How long does he get? Do you keep him for the whole season? Do you let it play out? They've invested money in young players, or does it get to the point where you're like, enough's enough?
They have pursued him for a long time. And they will have to decide, I think they'll see the season out. They might not, football can change very quickly. But they have pursued him for a long time, and they are looking and hoping things turn around.
Okay. Are you match fit ready to step in, Sol? Are you match fit ready to step in if they need someone to go in that technical area?
I tell you what, I'd help them in defensive. Just give me a job and I'll help them out. I'll tell you how to get out of a 2-man press against Brentford or 3-man coming up. What's going on here? I mean, when I look at it, you got Brentford. I'm going back. Obviously, we're talking about Chelsea, but we go back to say Brentford. I mean, it's a 2-man press with another midfielder coming in. I mean, when you look at it, you just got to work it out. It's quite easy. You go flatter, and then that midfielder has to run another 10, 15 yards. He runs another 10, 15 yards. That gives more space in the middle of the park. That's simple.
Get him in now. So the only problem with you doing that is we'd lose you on air, wouldn't we? Unless you can do both. I'm not sure.
I like these ones. I'll be training, I'll sneak off and I'll quickly do a little Zoom call when they get back to training.
Yes, amazing.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.